spend that much money.
You know, if you do take the house and you turn it upside down, that's what you need to do.
Want to hear a gross fact about bacteria?
How fast is your life moving? Hi, I'm Tim Somerville.
And I'm Michael Dempsey, and this is the 26th episode
26.
of Off the Market with Team Somerville.
Let's get ready to
Rumble and possibly debate.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to let you start.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? We get a lot of times, people ask us, what can I do to my house to make it worth money?
Okay.
I'm going to flip the script. What are you doing to your house that could be potentially devaluing their home?
That's good.
Yeah,
You're right on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So number one, of course, is always the over improvement. And what that is they invest in a chef's kitchen or a luxury primary suite. They say, not everyone wants a $40,000 chef's kitchen. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be a buyer for it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you are in a area where the average price is a $300,000 home, I'm sorry, we're not going to get you, that $40,000 kitchen back.
Well, and
we'd like to.
We see that. We see that with pools. We see that with other things. The funny thing about a pool is people put $100,000 into a pool, in-ground pool, and the people buying it say, well, we'll never use that. We don't see the value. And the day it closes, guess what?
Yep.
They're in the bloody pool.
They're blowing up the tubes and they're popping in. Get the sunscreen.
That's right. That's right. But go on.
Yes. Okay, here's a better one. Converting a bedroom into something that they think is better. So maybe it's an in-home gym, and a lot of those items can be removed. It's still a bedroom, but sometimes they go over and above, and they've got things on the walls. Maybe they've got a cool little chin-up bar.
Well, you know what my wife did with one of our bedrooms? She wanted it to be a walk-in closet. Right, so one of our third bedrooms on our main floor is now this big walk-in closet for her.
Mama likes to shop. Don't tell her I said that.
Gary said, go on.
Okay, so this one I kind of tend to agree with, but also at the same time don't agree with.
Okay.
So we know that first impressions are very important.
Oh, yeah.
And every home deserves a second look through as well.
Okay.
But sometimes having too dark or on-trend paint colors can kind of set people off. And they don't see the value that's truly there. And I know it's something so simple as paint. You watch all 26 episodes, you'll see we talk about paint at least 5 times. Yeah. It's so simple, but like I said, that first impression, they walk through the doors and it just doesn't feel, maybe it's too gothy.
Well,
I don't know.
Dude, do you know it's funny? Because many buyers these days, they don't have vision. So they're seeing the walls, the colors they are. And again, that could really deter them coming in and doing, what they should be doing. And that is looking at it in their eyes for their home. But you'd be surprised.
Absolutely. And we do our best. We say, look, you don't like the paint, that's fine. That could be changed. But sometimes a little bit of the damage has already been done.
Okay.
A big one is replacing the good old faithful bathtub with a luxury walk-in shower. And don't get me wrong, a nice, a huge shower that can fit 100 people, nicely tiled.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong.
Do you still have a tub, though?
No. A lot of homes are losing the tub.
I know.
In fact, yesterday, we have a wonderful client care specialist that's kind of new to the team, but she is working.
Oh, yes.
I tell you, she's on top of things.
Yeah.
And so she was sending me a couple listings about some of my great buyers to say, hey, what do you think about this? Will that work for so-and-so? And a lot of the homes were a small little stand-up shower that's not even big enough for, the woman of the house to shave her legs.
No, I don't. You get in,
and
you don't even get wet.
That's right. And then maybe they have like this glamorous whirlpool tub.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do I bend over and bathe the little kids? This particular family has 2 young boys, sweet boys. But I mean, they got to get cleaned, and that's just not optimal for them.
Oh, no, it is.
So we see a lot of bathtubs going up. And again, it worked for you. And I would bring up the argument that a lot of people, when they buy their home, maybe they have the mindset, this is my forever home.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. But things do change. And, the question is, are you doing that renovation for you, or will that renovation,
of course,
help everyone?
And great point, because at the end of the day, we tell most of our clients, when you're buying a home, please remember, or even building a home, please remember of the next buyer. So again, if you're building a home and you're doing 1 bedroom up and 3 bedrooms down, well, that's really going to deter the next buyer. And people are like, well, I'm going to be in here until I'm pulled out in a pine box. And guess what? 3 years later, guess what they're doing? They're selling.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
the setup that you described is great if you have older children, teenage children, that the mom and
yes.
papa suite is upstairs. That's great. Again, I have some young families, saying young family, not ideal to have the young boys downstairs.
No.
They like to have them a little closer to them.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
where did I go in here?
I don't know. Where did you go?
I don't know.
Okay.
I kind of got excited.
Oh,
That was the biggest one. And again, I brought up the question, am I doing this for my lifestyle? Or am I doing this for
well,
sale?
the idea of devaluing your property in your home happens more and more. And that is because, again, just like I said, many of the buyers that are purchasing these homes or the sellers that currently have them are doing things for themselves. And there's no problem with that. As long as what you do, I call it the absorption value. Whatever you do, make sure you've absorbed the value so that if you do sell, you're not looking for that full ticketed price. So if you do something for 15 grand and you've had it for 5 years, don't expect another 15 grand on something you did that was good for your family. You may only get 3 to 5 grand back on that. Would you agree?
I agree.
Okay.
Which brings me to the very last one. And again, there's several other items that we can, I found it. We could bring up a couple other items, but again, big ticket items is, I've walked into homes where they've converted the garage into another type of room. So maybe they got a tiki room, maybe they had another bedroom, it's a second living room, it's the man cave or the she cave, whatever you call that. That's great for you.
Right.
But people see the image of that garage door outside, they get excited.
All right.
It's difficult to put, if you were to build your own garage, like there's going to be, numbers that could be a $75,000 garage potentially, right? So people get excited. They say, hey, there's a garage, and they show up and they're like, I have to put money into this
Just to make it a
run of the mill garage.
I know.
It's just not right.
No. So good. Good points. Yeah. Okay. I want to stay on market.
Let's do it.
Let's get it right. Get right and get it going. I want to talk about items and offers that sometimes get overlooked as whether or not they're staying or going. And inside and outside, you'd be surprised how many items are overlooked or assumed they are staying or going. So you and I talked about a few of them earlier, but let's go outside first, right? There's solar lights. Now, solar lights, yes, you just pull them out of the ground, but there's a lot of them that are stapled or nailed into, of course, the wood in the house and gazebos and everything else.
I was just going to say gazebos.
Right. So you have to make sure that, again, those there are probably supposed to remain because they are attached to something that's probably going to remain as well. Security. When we look at the door cams, the door cam, of course, again, if you remove it, again, the holes in the door. But again, if you're going to exclude some of these items, you have to make sure they're excluded. But when you take them, there cannot be damage to the property, right? That's the issue. So when we talk about that as well, there's the shed, hot tub. Michael, sore spot with Michael.
About 7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years. Let's see. 7 years, 6 months, 14 days.
12 seconds.
Yeah. So you have to make sure that everything is there. We believe in the CYA rule, cover your butt.
Yep.
But also that if we had to go to court, we write our offers as if we were standing in the eyes of a judge. So if there's something there, you may say, why do we have to put that? Because it may not be assumed that it's staying or going unless we do. So we also have, say you have a wood stove. Another item we see outside all the time is a bunch of wood. 2 cords of wood, 3 cords of wood that's actually now seasoned and ready to go. Those people that own the home may be buying another home with a wood stove and may want to bring that wood. So what I've done there sometimes, Michael, I don't know if you do, but maybe there's 3 or 4 cord of wood that are outside. I may say something like the vendor is to leave an approximate amount of wood in the amount of approximately 2 cord. Maybe you take some, not all, or you ask for it, all remaining wood to stay on closing. So something again that gets overlooked. The gazebo we mentioned earlier. Listen, you may think just because it's screwed to the deck or that it's sitting on the ground there that it's there and it's going to stay. Don't assume. We all know what assume means.
That's right.
What's cardinal rule? With the house.
Disclose.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so it comes with chattels.
Yeah, chattels.
Yeah.
Or anything.
Yeah, you pick up the house.
Yeah.
You turn it upside down.
Yeah.
Everything that falls down and you wanted it, You should ask.
Yeah, I know. And keep in mind that even then,
Yes.
when you flip the house, there are items that are attached that, again, you should be asking for.
Absolutely.
Like inside TV mounts. Again, even though that they'll want to keep their TV, the mounts are screwed into the bloody wall. They take them out. If anybody's ever taken a mount out, I mean, the amount of holes, I mean, it's just crazy.
So
So
it's professionally patched up.
oh, yes. And then you have to look at that. You as a seller, are you going to want to crack fill and paint this wall just to keep that TV mount that you can go to, Princess Auto Way to work an 80 tire, pick one up. Mirrors, bathroom mirrors. This is a big one. In the purchase and sale agreement, under, a condition, does state that the bathroom mirrors will remain. So if you're the seller and you have a specific one that's only held on by 2 nails and you think you can just lift her off, guess what? This is an item that if you want it, make sure it's excluded. And that's important. The listing that you see online, just because it may mention items, guess what? If you don't put it in the offer, guess what? You may not get those items. Because just because it's in the listing, when you write the offer, the seller is going to look at your offer and determine whether or not they feel that you may not have put a value on those items. So that's why you're offering what you are. Almost like a little bit of a give and take. We'll let you keep this because I haven't put it in the offer at this price. Now, if you're assuming it's going to remain, right back to we all know what assume means. Other items. Right on mower. You may buy a house that has a pretty big yard. The snow blower. Tanks outside are not always rented. And if they are, again, you have to assume the lease of those. But sometimes we'll get into a spot that's like a 100-pound propane tank, right? Well, okay, well, guess what? They usually don't stay, because why? They're not leased. So they could be an item that you'll have to ask for. Curtains. I always write, I think you do, all blinds, rods, and window treatments to remain. Lights. You could have a Tiffany light. You could have this. You could have that. Whatever it is, the circumstance is that, again, if you as a seller, you're going to remove one, we always say, do it before the pictures. Do it before the listing. But if you don't want to, we make sure, or you should make sure that, again, that's excluded.
The buyer can't miss what they never saw.
Correct. Correct. And another one is a simple one, but many people have islands and peninsulas, and they have the kitchen and bar stools. Well, they fit there. And so at the end of the day, you'd be surprised that you may say, oh, yes, I just thought they would stay. Why? Right?
Don't assume.
Don't assume. So we have that security. We've talked about security in just the last one. Yeah. And security systems, the big thing is the fact that not all of them, will remain. If they are within a contract and they haven't finished that first initial contract period, they may have to either have it removed, taken with them, even if you want to assume it, because some of those contracts may not be assumable. So again, something else to look at. And other than that, I guess what I would say is just keep in mind that all those little items that you may take for granted, somebody else may not be. I even said about the hose reel I have on my house. I mean, I couldn't take that. I put holes in the siding. But you'd be surprised how many people say, well, it wasn't in the offer. It was attached to the house. You pick it up. Guess what? That hose reel isn't moving. Sure, you can take your hose, but the actual reel that's attached to the house should stay.
Depends on how good of a hose it is.
I have a nice hose reel.
Okay. Well, I mean, I probably just leave the hose.
So anyway, just keep in mind that, again, it's one item that we see in many offers, and that is the fact that there was an assumption that something was going to stay or go, and it wasn't. So just understand. And again, there are times where sellers will want to leave items that are not even in the listing. And I'll give you the big cardinal one, the big one, and it's big, are pianos.
Oh my gosh.
I know. To move a piano is, I think they built the home around the piano.
That's true.
And then, I mean, they're just so heavy and never used. I shouldn't say never. I mean, some people may use them, but I mean, just don't assume that, oh yes, the next purchaser wants that, because now they do the final walkthrough. There's an organ or piano in the living room. They're like, we didn't want that.
Have you been burned on that? I have.
Yeah, you know
Just
what?
once.
Yeah, I was. And what ended up happening on that one was quite a few times will write it, which is good. But early in my career, there was an old organ that the seller didn't tell me until that night. I called the buyer. They said, we don't want it. We couldn't find anybody. So what ended up happening was we actually had to take a few $100s off of the price to allow the buyer to have a company come in and move it.
Get rid of it.
Right. So just understand that again, just do your best. Do your best
I
to
have,
not assume.
yeah.
Okay.
Once helped carry a box piano.
Oh yes. Oh yes. We've all. Well, I've been there.
Yeah.
So I know a lot. Okay. You want to go on or me?
Yeah, well, I'll go on.
Okay.
We're gonna switch it up just a little bit. I
Okay,
think
go.
I was just having a little fun this morning, going through some facts.
Okay.
And our good friend Tim here, he loves trivia.
Oh, yeah.
I thought about doing it. We should do a trivia thing in a future podcast. Right? Give you a little bell, and you be like, ding, you know.
I want one of those staples. It's
But
easy.
That's right. That's right. I'll just say the world is a mysterious place, and there's a lot of weird stuff out there.
Yes.
So I thought I'd share just some things that kind of caught me off guard.
Okay.
And did you know that there is a thunderstorm called Hector the Convector that comes every day at 3 o'clock?
Really?
Yes. So the most thunderstorms are very, as you know, unpredictable, but not Hector. Thanks to something called the microclimate over the Tiwi Islands off the coast of northern Australia, Hector arrives every day at 3 o'clock from September through to March. So we'll call it the thunderstorm season.
Okay.
He's very huge, and he's usually about 19 kilometers high.
Yeah, it sounds like a wrestler.
I know, right? I picture the spandex. For some reason, he's got a mask, Anyways.
Under the mask.
So, as a young child, I'm sure you've at least looked at the map of the solar system. Maybe you've had to build a diorama or a model or something,
Yeah.
They say that Mars is not actually round.
Really?
Yeah, unlike any other
like
rocky planet, Mars is actually shaped like a rugby ball.
Okay.
Yeah, but it has different sizes along all three axes. So it's kind of maybe the sun is melting it. I don't know.
It's elliptic. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll leave it up to
Okay.
Mr. Tesla Musk when he lands there. So let's talk about bacteria.
Oh.
As you know, all the world's bacteria stacked on top of each other would stretch for 10 billion light years. And what that means is Earth's microbes are 0.001 millimeters. Very, very thin, microscopic, obviously. But if you stacked them on top of each other, it would wrap around our Milky Way over 20,000 times.
So
Does that not give you the heebie-jeebies? I kind of want to scratch.
Well, I was going to say, that's a lot of hand sanitizer. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'm assuming, don't assume.
Don't assume.
There's got to be a lot of bacteria in, the oceans, the sea. I don't know.
Of course, yeah.
They're not all on us.
I know.
Yeah. So, do you know what the fear of long words is called?
No.
It's called, and I'm going to butcher it, so stand by, Hippopoctomonstrosquipidoliophobia. It's 36 letters.
And you wonder why I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
Well, there's
wild
one person
and
right now
wacky.
listening that heard that and said,
But it's funny.
That's a big word.
But fear of long words
Yeah.
is a long word.
there was a comedian a long time ago that always asked, should the word abbreviation be such a long word?
That's true.
It's true. Okay, so we're gonna get a little weird here.
Okay.
And this is a scientific fact. Did
Really?
you know that chainsaws were invented for childbirth? I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Oh my God.
Now, not your steel, not your top of the line items. There was a type of item invented to be used for that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna leave you on a happy fact.
Please do.
You
Please
happy
don't.
guys. Okay, change the subject.
Okay.
I thought this was cool. You talk in your sleep?
Sure.
Sure. Well, apparently, so do a majority of deaf people, but they use sign language.
What?
Yes, they are sound asleep, and sometimes you and I, we wake up maybe you wake up and you're like, or maybe you're talking in your sleep. My daughter does it all the time. They literally are in bed going. And no, I'm not making fun of them.
Okay,
I'm
no,
not
I
making fun of
know,
them.
but I
think
could just
it's an
imagine.
amazing thing because
I think so too.
that's how they communicate.
Wow.
We communicate with our ugly mouths.
Could you imagine?
But they do. That's how they talk in their sleep. I think it's cute.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So that was our little fun facts to kind of tickle your brain on this Tuesday.
Okay. Well, So I'm going to stay off market. And, I had the pleasure, recently, I FaceTimed a friend of mine who was in Ontario, and he was having breakfast with a couple of gentlemen that I actually went to high school with, almost 40 years ago. And yes, almost, and first time I see him, right? One guy looks like Paul Bunyan, the other guy looks just like he did. And, two great guys, right? But haven't seen them. And I was thinking back, we as realtors, we work more or less 7 days a week. And, we were going to talk in a previous podcast about mentors and how important they are to us. And so I had the opportunity not too long ago to be in Ontario, and I did. I took the time out to visit with two people that I felt, had an impact on my life growing up. And it was fantastic. It was, again, almost 40 years from seeing those individuals. The one gentleman is now 85. He's an outdoor enthusiast. He still goes out, he canoes and kayaks and camps in the woods and does this, does that. Looks phenomenal. My wife couldn't, really like looked at him and said, no way, he's not 85. Like, he looks great for it. The other gentleman was my big brother. I was part of the Big Brother, Little Brother organization, and he was my big brother. And really, again, I mean, just a great guy. Got to meet his wife and everything else. But my point is, there was a movie. It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and there was a famous quote. It was, "Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it." And it's true. We as realtors and many people in their busy life and everything else. I mean, again, it's one of those things. And I've had the ability to look at, I've coached, and of course we've dealt with trainers before, and there are different coaches out there and everything else. These mentors and these people that have had an impactful life, for impactful moments on your life, it's important to make sure that they truly appreciate and understand how much, they meant to you. And sometimes we go too fast and we go too long without appreciating those moments. So you feel that way, or what's your story?
Absolutely. Yeah. My story? Well, I mean, I was never part of like a Big Brother program or anything like that. And when I was younger, it's hard to pinpoint a mentor, but I will say, once I got into the professional world, I certainly had a one officer in the military that was a mentor. Obviously I fell under him, but he was a great mentor.
Yeah.
I got into the JD Irving world. I know I had like two mentors there that were really good.
Good.
And then, of course, when I got into real estate, I haven't found anybody. I'm
No.
pointing at you. You goof.
But can I ask? So do you still talk to those people from Irving?
Here and there.
Okay.
Cause it's tough because, sometimes you drift away.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad to hear that you're able, when you're in Ontario, taking a little bit of leisure, you're able to meet up. Was that else again?
So John McIntosh. So John, again, phenomenal soul. We met for brunch, and we're sitting there, and I could have sat there for 20 hours. And Richard, we went out for dinner, and same thing, right? We had places to go, but uh, to take that extra time and to make a promise to ourselves that we wouldn't wait another 40 years. And with John being 85, he'd probably be the one guy that could be around in 40 years. But at the end of the day, I'm definitely not going to. And we just have to remember those moments. We have to remember that those people that are important. And I look at my mentors and people. And to be honest, one of my biggest mentors has always been my mom. Growing up, I know how we grew up, and all that she did for her family and so forth. And it's just nice to be able to know that, yes, you have family, but outside of family, sometimes those relationships are really strong too. So hopefully, again, like I said, that everybody has an opportunity to, rehash some of those important people in your life.
Great advice. So pull out the photo albums, the yearbooks, and in all honesty, if Tim's stories made you think of somebody, I mean, what's stopping you? Reach out, shoot him a message.
The FaceTime was amazing.
Yeah.
We do not realize how easy it is to connect. Whereas in beforehand, of course, I mean, well, I guess I'll put a letter in the mail and see if it goes to the right address, right? So awful lot easier if you ask me to reconnect if you really want to.
Absolutely. But I will say, do you like getting real mail?
I do, you know what I do? I do, because again, at the end of the day, it's one of those items that you don't get much. You get your advertising and you get your bill. So
Yeah.
the odd time when you get something, you take that extra couple seconds to appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you?
Absolutely. I love real mail. And that's why here at the team, like we do our best. We get out fun those 6-month anniversaries,
That's right.
1 year anniversaries.
That's right.
Just send you a handwritten card that says, hey, we're thinking of you.
Yeah.
Sure, if you've been in your home for 15 years and we're congratulating you, we're probably maybe, saying maybe it's a good time to sell.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we legitimately are just excited to have
I
our
agree.
clients to share those milestones with them.
Yeah.
And of course, most of them come to our client events.
That's right.
Our Roll the Page or even Team Somerville events. And we can't do it without you. And we're really thankful to have you.
I agree. Yeah. So on that,
Yeah, I think we'll pretty much wrap it up for today. Again, thank you for joining us. I'm Michael.
I'm Tim, and this is me, Off the Market with Team Somerville.